Y'all already know I showed up to this one early. Y'all early and not late. Hit it.
Love got beat. Rock Legion.
Welcome to my matrix. Welcome to my matrix. I can see me living in a matrix. Living in a matrix. Living in a matrix. Everybody, welcome to my matrix. Welcome to my politics, media, education and business, military and medicine, banking, religion, black market, stock market. These are just the basics. Everybody, welcome to my matrix. Welcome to my matrix. Everybody, welcome to my matrix. Taking seed, don't forget your vaccination. Welcome to my matrix.
It's time.
Matrix, Agent Smith looking for you. Don't get complacent. Welcome to my matrix. Big brother watching everybody move. Gotta keep an eye on. Welcome to my matrix. Sitting game, mainframe, love gang. I'm protecting Zion. Smoked out, call me Buddha. Lion, call me Judah. Black dog, call me Allah. Triangle, Bermuda. 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons. Crucial. Black cat, I got 9 lives. Ascension of future. Metahuman. Superpowers, I'm a metahuman. Perfection, I strive every day. You can call me a better human. Star, crystal, indigo, babies. I've come to set you free from your enslavement. Welcome to my matrix. Welcome to my matrix. I could see me living in a matrix. Living in a matrix. Living in a matrix. Everybody, welcome to my matrix. Shout out to that channel, Conscious of. Go follow that channel right there, Conscious of Crazy. Go follow my man's right there. Show him some love. Welcome to my politics, media, education and business, military and medicine, banking, religion, black market, stock market. These are just the basics. Everybody, welcome to my matrix. This is the matrix. My politicians corrupted, my media telling lies, my education disguised. This is the matrix. My business is corporation, my military industrial terrorizing your nation. This is the matrix. My medicine, it don't heal you. All of my banks are inflated. All my religions, they kill you. This is the matrix. Stock market, in fact, if you need an organ from blacks, we got a market for that. Look, my style is organic. My nature demands it. Shout out to all the people whose style is organic and their nature demands it. I'm saving the planet. I'm taking advantage. Woo! From killing myself with these poisonous habits. Now I'm helping myself and you taking it badly. Labeled as a renegade, even though I'm free, I know you still want me to be your slave. Sour like a lemon head, life hand me a lemon. I mean, I think with that lemonade. Life hand me a lemon, I mean, I think with that lemonade. It's not often. Just like me, Dr. Sabi all over again. Dig it. Ooh, hey, this like meeting. This live is like meeting Dr. Sabi all over again. When I met Dr. Sabi, he woke me up. My life changed, and I ain't been the same ever since. I already know. Good, bad, ugly. This shit is life changing, man. Listen, bro, we got put some respect on his name, bro. Put some respect on his name. We got the most honorable, noble, justice, immortal Dr. Reverend Phil Valentine in the building. In a few, you feel me? I started it early so everybody can just come on in. Everybody can just come on in. And come on in, because when we start, we going. We going in. We going in when we start. You feel me? When we start, we going in. You feel me? The 804 is back. Let me give a shout out to all the people in the building. Latasha, what's good? What's good, my wife, my babe? What's up? 15 North. You've been waiting for this one. You've been waiting for this one. Revis, what's popping? What's popping? What's popping? T Skills, Divine Sunflower. See, Sinatra, Conscious or Crazy, Andre 333. You heard me, Tangela. You already know. Caldwell, Ty. You feel me? Mo Sunshine. Andre Wright, 919 in this bitch. Falome Moon in this joint. You feel me? We're about to play a game. We're about to play a game of 22 questions with the Reverend Dr. Phil Valentine. Got all kind of. You know how Chakra Doctor do it. Thank you, Falami. Man, thank you, Falami. Thank you. I appreciate that, man. Y'all make sure y'all go show love to the SoundCloud. Prophet 504. Prophet 504. PROPHAT 504. All one word, no underscores, no spaces. And make sure you show some love to the music. Matrix. I got some more music coming out. Y'all make sure y'all catch me in Atlanta for Juneteenth with Crumb TV. At the after party, I'm gonna be performing this music and more music at the after party. Yeah, man, I got the questions. I got the. You know how nigga was on the DMX? I got the ox, son. Yeah, I got the ox. Cortex L was popping. I really like that Antichrist video earlier. Yeah. You like that, huh? I appreciate that. Yeah. Man, that was and that's the type of stuff that be coming across my desk, and that's the type of stuff that I project. That's the type of stuff that I put out there as, what type of stuff that resonates with us, man. You know what I mean? Who we really are, what we really about, what we really got going on, what's really going on in life. You dig? Would I ever go on Sinetta TV? If I go on Sinetta TV, because Sinetta Aries like me, if I go on Sinetta TV, it's gonna turn into an argument. Because I'm gonna have questions that he ain't gonna be able to answer, or he ain't gonna want answer, or he gonna feel like, I'm a man coming at him a certain way, you feel me? So, nah, I wouldn't go on Sinetta TV. I'm sorry. No, I wouldn't go on Sinetta TV. The believe it or not, you know what TV, like any big platform, bro, if I go on there, bro, it's gonna have to be live. I don't want nothing to be pre-recorded. You feel me? I don't want nothing to be, I want everything to be off the hip. I want everything to be live. Y'all come on through, man. Y'all come on through. Phil Valentine coming through, and we're going to have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful cake party of a show. That's why I started it early, to make sure that everybody get in here. Everybody get their seat, get their pen, get their pad, get their drink, get their smoke, get their whatever. And yeah, man. But would I go on Sinetta TV? The reason why I wouldn't go on Sinetta TV simply because of all of the Rainbow Booty Boys that got funneled through Sinetta TV. I know Sinetta is a Rainbow Booty Boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna end up being, the only way I could go on Sinetta TV is if he's humble enough to let me be me. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you humble enough to let me be me, you feel me? And when I say let me be me, let me talk about. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about this shit that's over your head. These clouds that's over your head. Maybe I do got you wrong. You did, but everybody guilty until proven innocent with me. Bitch, I'm God, my favorite so far. I know I call that my wake up song. When I woke up, that's the song that came to me. When I woke up, when I fully woke up, and this is what I mean by woke up, becoming a fully chakra activated being, And that's, we're gonna ask Doctor about that too. Chakras. Let me write that down. We're gonna, you know, I'm like a student with y'all. I'm like a student with y'all. And this one, this is like meeting Dr. Sabi all over again. It's like meeting Dr. Sabi all over again. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I would love to, you know, I like to make sure that everything was, and still out good. I'm about to make sure too. How can I do this? Yeah. 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 There we go. Let me go on here and get there we go. Paste. Boom. So I hit him in his emails now. He should get that right there. I'm waiting on you now. Dr. Phil Godfather. Yeah, man. One of the founding fathers of what we call this woke community or this conscious community. This is round 2 of Venus Day. You know, next Friday next Friday and probably every Friday from then on out. Thank God it's Friday gonna be on. Thank God it's Friday gonna be on my channel, and we're gonna be learning about the different many parallels of our lives that coincide with I'm your Venus, I'm your fire, your desire. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So anyway, we learned some nice about that whatchamacallit, that Venus. And but hey, is Bobby Hemmett still alive? Anyone? I haven't seen him in so long. Is Bobby Hemmett even still alive or around? Can anybody confirm that? Or where is Bobby Hemmett? If anybody does know. I know Delbert Blair passed away. You know, Dick Gregory passed away. Bobby Hemmett had a stroke. Somebody said, yeah, he's still with us. Somebody said, no, he did. Somebody say he with us. Somebody say, no, he did. I don't know. If he is with us, oh, he died by stroke. Because if he was with us, I'll tell him to holler at me. When Bobby Hemmett died, because I ain't no noise when he died. Bobby not dead? Davey Lee said Bobby not dead. So somebody got to bring some receipts. Somebody got to give me some receipts because y'all giving me conflicting stories. They said he transited. Oh, let me go see what's up with Bobby Hemmett. Bobby Hemmett. Bobby Hemmett stroke update. From what it looks like, they said, yeah, they say he dead. Yeah, he said he gone. This just happened recently. Damn, this just happened recently. Hold on, y'all don't go nowhere. Hold on, let me see what Rev at, man. His old lectures. Yeah, they said this one, that one said he died. That was a whole video. It said he died. Hold on, damn, I ain't know. I'm about to see that was one video. Oh, that was way in 20. That been had happened, huh? He been suffered a stroke like in 2013 or something. Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know, bro. Somebody talking about his brother's passing. So I don't know if that was that. I'm gonna ask Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil, is Bobby Hemming still alive? We're gonna ask Dr. Let me. Matter of fact, let me get Dr. Phil in this joint. Let me. Damn it, it's in. Yeah, man, we're gonna find this, and we're gonna find this info. But let me make sure. Y'all don't. If the screen go black, y'all don't go nowhere. That's me. That's me getting in contact with Mr. Phil Valentine. Hold on, don't go nowhere. See, he waiting for the link. I'm about to give him the link right now, ladies and gentlemen. I'm about to give him the link right now. I emailed it to him. Yeah, he come right now. He about to. That was him on the other side. So he coming right now. We about to find out right now. I'm about to put my headphones. I'm about to put my earbuds in. Earbuds. Now you was a cold piece to get Dr. Phil on. Ooh, I know. Cold, funky cold Medina. I had been sent him the link. Yeah, but yeah, we about to. I just sent him the link. He'll be in here any second now. You feel me? Some of y'all see, and that's just the thing, y'all. We're supposed to be a community to where we know who's dead and who's alive. We don't even. We're arguing over, not arguing, but because we don't argue, we ain't arguing. But we are talking about someone who is a pillar in our community, and we don't even know if he's dead or we're going back and forth. Well, I don't know if he died. See, and it shows how concerned that we are for each other. But everybody know if Young Dolph dead or alive, So yeah, man, we gotta do our pioneers and our elders better than that. No matter their sins or shortcomings, we gotta be like the body of Christ, man, and welcome all love and truth in the building. You feel me? Um, yeah, so I'm gonna ask the Reverend Dr. Phil about if we're gonna. I know Dr. Phil know. Dr. Phil know if he a fucking. See, we about Dr. Phil know if he alive. Look at, I get to be a student. One of the rare few times where I get to be a student in this joint, and I get to be sitting back like, oh shit, I'm in the building with Dr. Phil. You feel me? Yeah. So yeah, we waiting on him. I just sent him the link in this text message. He should be in here any given second now. Um, yeah, most definitely. And we ain't nothing but we ain't nothing but really seven. It says 19 minutes because I started this stuff early. But yeah, in actuality we only like 5 to 7 minutes. We're not even 10 minutes into the set. So I want to get everybody in here for this and ask Dr. Phil all of the questions that are written down, um, and get his perspective on these past, present, and future topics that we're all just dying to know his opinion on. To get that expertise, to get that wisdom from one of the pioneers that's actually still here. And key word, he's still here. He practiced natural medicine, and he practices he practices health. We're gonna find out what kind of health that he practiced. Yeah, look, you didn't even know Delbert Blair was gone, man. That's crazy. I didn't when he died. It was crazy. Um, you know what I mean? And it's like, man, you know, our our pioneers are dying by the wayside. We don't even know they're gone. Look how sleep this our woke ass is. You feel me? So that's the that's the thing where I'm getting it at. You feel me? Like we got to do better just when it comes to just taking care of ourselves as people. Like just taking care of ourselves as people. You feel me? Taking care of ourselves as people, and and getting it in. I could call them from my other phone too. Normally, normally he'll be in already. Let me see what's going on. Oh yeah, my banner, huh? Oh yeah. The banner, the banner gonna be a call. I'm gonna have a call in live banner too. Uh, I'm gonna have a call in live banner too. Y'all don't go nowhere. My screen go black. Y'all don't go nowhere. It's me doing this behind the video scenes with the button. Oh, there you go. There you go. Hold on. We're in the building, and voila! There you go. Everybody, everybody, the man we've been waiting for. We got these questions for. We have first and foremost. Oh well, he already killed one of the questions. God damn it! His shirt already killed one of the questions. Damn it! Wait a minute. All right, number 6. So don't pick number 6. We got 21 questions. We had 22. We got 21 questions. Um, you know, pioneer, you know, Mister, it's just like meeting Dr. Sabi all over again, man. I've only met two. You're the second pioneer I met in this, conscious community, and and it's just like I'm a star. Like I'm starstruck right now. You know what I mean? I'm starstruck right now. It is a pleasure to meet you. You're the reason, why I aspired to become, a reverend and a doctor, and I'm a reverend and a doctor, and doing this thing, man. And you was the first person I heard talking about these arcane knowledges, and I'm a arcane magician, and I do this arcane magic on the forefront and teach everybody that all of this stuff is, so it's just like a lot of the formats that I got with myself. You were one of the main, when you were one of the main people, I was like, you know what? When I do this, I want to do this part of my life like that, like him. You're one of the few, you're one of the few people that has done that to me. So let me get your solo, man. Let everybody know, what's going on with you, who you are, and for those, for the new people who don't know, and we'll get it started. All right, and the solo layout. How you doing, Doc?
I'm good. I'm good. And yourself?
All right, we're doing swell, well, and great. I already introduced you and everything, so everybody know who you are. I just thought you probably had something to say before. No disrespect and nothing like that. But we're getting into the business of the 22 questions, the 21 questions. All right, and pick a number 1 through 21.
7.
He picked number 7, and the 7th question is: from Africa or not? There is a group of us who believe that we have been here for a while. We are the Native Americans. We are not, we didn't come over here on no boats, and we are not any Africans. And then there's a sect of us that say, no, we are from Africa. We came over here on the boats. What say ye, Dr. Phil Valentine?
Well, we were all under the assumption, based upon what our ancestors and our teachers had told us. The only thing is that we neglected the fact that uh, Africa was one of the central points for our origins and for what we represented as the originators of civilization. And I'll tell you the truth, we have been everywhere on this plane of existence. That's the thing that most people would like to localize us to Africa, but that's not true. Those Europeans who decided to come out of the coals of Europe when they built the big ships, in after actually using the templates of the ancient Moors. You have to remember that the royalty of England was also uh, a Coppertone people, and the people who broke away from England were Coppertone people, and the archives of the so-called conquistadors and colonizers in the early stages of European so-called diasporic movements all wrote back and painted pictures of black ones that they call Moors or natives that reminded them of the Moors of Africa. So the indigenous peoples uh, here are not the ones that came with, over the Bering Strait Bridge at the time before that was flooded over or was with ice. It came over when the sea receded and the ice gave them a chance to come over from Mongolia and down through the Bering Straits and into Canada and down into our area. And of course, there was a mixing. They came as conquerors as well as refugees or migrants. And the people that were here, the true indigenous people, were the Coppertone people. And it's only now that the Smithsonian says that the first civilization here, the original civilization here in the Americas, were the people that they call the Olmecs. So if you were to look at the Olmec head, you will see that a lot of people are saying, well, they came from Africa, the G people, and a lot of the ancient Mali and so forth. Well, Mali did come over here. Mansa Musa's people did make the trip and came into the Gulf of Mexico. In fact, Mexico was named after, according to my good brother Horace Butler, was named after a king named Meshi, Mexi or Meci, and Ko meant meant the land. And so Mexico was named after this black man who was the king at the time that was met by the conquistadors. In fact, Mansa Musa actually became um, his name became uh, warped into Montezuma. So a lot of the history that we know of the Americas is a lie, a straight up lie. The Pope made sure of that because after the Civil War and the so called Reconstruction, the Reconstruction was not just about building back up after the war, it was reconstructing the history of this part of the world. So, yes, we have always been here. We will always be here.
Yep. And they go to Olmecs heads that he was talking about, everybody. Those Olmecs that he was speaking about, they're right there. Big, huge heads, man. And we've, there's been some things that have been uncovering to our consciousness lately that specifies when we was on Crumb TV, we were talking about how these big giant heads and these statues and things of that nature um, it's now being revealed that they were actual giant black people, super
Yeah.
giant black people, petrified into stone.
Well,
Can you elaborate on that?
yeah, they're saying that a lot of the things that we call simulacrum, the simulacrum are actually they're stating the faces of giants that were here that were probably etched or petrified. I'm not sure how legitimate that is. I believe that there was a silicone-based life form, and they were made into trees. And these trees were actually silicone-based. I don't believe any trees became petrified. There's no there's no scientific process that shows the process of a wood turning into stone. What we do know is that there is a forest, I think, in somewhere in Montana, or where they show you, they call them the stone trees or the petrified trees. Those trees are not petrified. They are some of the original trees, like the cedars of Lebanon. The cedars of Lebanon were gigantic. They were about the size of the Empire State Building, and their leaves were the size of about 3 or 4 city blocks. So, yes, there were giants that did exist on this plane, and a lot of their architecture was here. And of course, the Pope and the Vatican made sure that they have all that history, which turned our history into the mystery.
And did these giants did they have counterpart reptiles? Is this where the dinosaurs were the dinosaurs their antagonists, or did they have reptile counterparts as villains, or coexisting with big reptiles if they had big black humans? I'm assuming. I'm just asking you.
Well, everything was larger back then. Everything was larger, and what happened is uh, our territorial, the human territorial matrix became smaller because we're locked away in a prison. We are souls that took on the physical form based upon what we did and had to go through a cleansing for. The territorial structure or the territorial acreage of our plane of existence was at least 100 times bigger on this flatted plane. And there are lands that exist beyond what they call the Antarctic, which is our imprisonment. That's our cage. It's what's holding up the oceans.
That
So,
ice wall that everybody's talking about.
indeed.
Okay.
And so we have been, our species right now, who we are, a lot of our ancestors already took the Stargate out of here, and they are outside of the dome, and we're trapped in here to do the work. To
So are we choosing to come back here, or are we are we caught into a hack time loop, like they suggest?
Some choose, people who are here to teach, people who have been attempting to give the word to humanity about their divine nature. But there are entities who, well, I was told by someone, I can't tell you who at this point, that there are entities that they call the animus. And this was based on a document that I was given by this European man in Central Park, and it talked about something called the Cortium. It also spoke about the um, the labyrinth group, and the labyrinth group was structured and created, whether it was fantasy or whatever. But he gave this to me and told me that there were a spiritual, an entity, a second order entity spirit that were inhabiting susceptible humans, and they belonged or were actually sent forth as scouts by a group called the Animus. Now, the Animus are actually
Like hinting at anima, like the sun anima, or animus, like Animus.
Animus,
Okay.
yeah, indeed, and they are actually synthetic mixed in with organic.
So those are the hybrids that everybody speak about.
Well, they're the hybrids that are trying to get humanity hooked into a virtual reality and to
Like
get
a
up.
metaverse.
There you go.
And
And
are
to,
these are these beings? What are they? What colors do they come in? Do they are they black, white, Hispanic, or Asian, of all colors?
well, they're easier. The easier body for them to occupy is the Caucasoid, They're Nordic
Okay.
because they have a more suppressed DNA through the lack of melanin.
Mm.
And what happens and of course, a lot of people are going to talk racism because they've been doing a lot to interfuse with what was necessary for them to be able to survive. And what they're doing now is getting us hooked into a cyber like. In other words, we are a spiritual and a soul based creature that transcends not based upon technology, but by using and converting and changing the inner technology, which is your human body, to turn you into the necessary technology for you to ascend. What they want to do, because they don't have the ability to transcend, is they're going to piggyback on a relative understanding of how human body works. And that's what the AI is. The AI is their brain that is learning how the human body functions so that they can understand by jacking into your organic system so that they can get the feeling of what it's like to know what spirituality is. They don't have a
Mm.
direct connection to the Most High. We do. They don't. And they're kind of using our inner neuronal system as a drug, as their high, as their ayahuasca, as their mushrooms, so that they can actually know what it's like to touch the mind of God. They can't. So they're creating these artificial worlds in order to get you to jack in, and then they begin to be like parasites. They begin to feed on your energy, and that's
Mm.
what you're right. The metaverse is all about.
Because it reminds me of that movie with Bruce Willis where Surrogate, where they're all inside getting fat and old because their avatars are vicariously living for them through this world that has been created through this neural cyber link. And it's like wow, these trillionaires are paying these billionaires and these puppet millionaires to tell us the story right in front of our face, and they release a movie and then give it to you 3-4 years later. Can you
Yeah.
expound on are the powers that be actually for us? Because that's just like a big sign. Like that's a big sign that says, "Hey, look where we're doing." You know what I mean? So is it like a gentleman's game where they're letting us know, like, "Hey, we're making this chess move. Let's see if you can beat it," like in football?
Well, everything is a game. Remember, this is just there is no such thing as death. The suffering is actually you coming into the flesh. You may have little feelings of pleasure, you have a lot of pain, disappointments, emotional outbursts, and feelings of joy, and all these things. These are temporal based upon what it is that you have the ability to be in, and that's something that we call bliss. The feeling and the state of bliss is not a happiness. There's no such thing as happiness. Happiness is variable. It's conditional. Most people live happiness through conditions that they think makes them happy. And what happens is that we've lost the understanding of how to fuse with the stillness, how to come into the silence to find ourselves, because we have this cacophonous noise that we call our thoughts that our brain keeps feeding to us. And we are preoccupied with what has been fed into the brain and is fed back to us as our thoughts. That's the trap.
Mm, that's the trap right there. And man, I could just talk to you for days, man. So it's pick another number 1 through 21.
9.
9, and we go to 9. Okay, and this is a question from my actual subscribers, what they wanted to know, and they wanted to know your view on this red pill movement, modern women, and Kevin Samuels, and this energy. Is it the guy? Is this red pill movement with the guys are actual like the Morpheus red pill waking them up because of the goddess energy, or or is it men just bashing women?
Well, women decided to come into the outer world. The inner world was run by the women. They abdicated the throne of the inner society. They thought that they could be equal to us, do what we do, and share that type of power. But that power that men wield is something that we earn by the trials of fire. Women don't earn anything by trials of fire. Essentially, they are using their own sense of entitlement at this particular time. And what has happened now is that we're leaving a lot of our sisters in the lurch because they're alone. They may have achieved what a man achieves. They wonder, why is it that I have a CEO position? I make six figures. I own my own home and my own car. And that's supposed to impress a man. It doesn't. Men don't really care like that. We're not impressed with a woman who thinks that her material gain is what we're interested in. That's nonsense. What happens now is that she is actually selling herself the way a man would sell himself to a woman. So she's telling me that she has all these possessions, and the only person that would be interested in that is this somebody who wishes to share in that because they don't have that, and their whole energy is built up by that. And there are men that do that, of course, but a woman, essentially, her worth.
But is that a man? If he does that, I thought a man comes with certain programming. You know, I was taught that like the things that these males are doing out here are not considered manly because man is a character and male is a gender, right? So, you know, can you expound on this beta male, wear a dress, you know, sell your soul, these black men that are selling their soul right now to these cults and to these things that everybody is just seeing it in plain sight, you know?
Well, they're flipping the script on us. They flipped the script ever since feminism came in, and our sisters bought into feminism. You have to understand that the masculine world is one that's based in fire, expression, physicality. You know, you're not worth anything unless you show that you have the ability to provide and protect. Now, the women now, because it's changed up, they still want the privileges of a woman, which they've left behind to actually challenge us. They want the privileges of the woman now when it
man. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. So what happens is they've been hoodwinked, the way Malcolm said, bamboozled, and feminism turned them against us. Remember, the whole idea of feminism, first of all, was financed by Rockefeller. And what happened was the deep state needed to separate, divide and conquer. They used Sun Tzu's art of war. How do you destroy a greater enemy, one that is stronger than yourself? Well, the first thing you do is to infiltrate, find out how their culture works, and then seed distrust in the primary authority. The primary authority in society is the man. The woman is the secondary authority. So what did they do? Feminism said we have to flip that script the way the Romans did when they conquered somebody. Back in the day, the Romans would then give the women the position and station of the man, and then send their sons off to different parts of the land as occupying armies in their territories. This elevated the woman, who was completely out of her space, based in her emotions rather than in her calculated thinking. So now we have a society that's raising 75 to 80% of our people are raised by women. Men, when boys are actually
so this is why you think they're susceptible to falling for the deals of wearing a dress.
Oh yes.
Okay, because the women that raised us, or the women that raised them in these single mother homes, are basically not instilling that divine masculinity that they need in order to resist the devil.
But they can't. Why would we even want to put that burden on them?
And remember, because you said they decided to abdicate the throne and take on the role.
I'm just saying that as a rhetorical. What I'm just saying is that women were bamboozled, and it wasn't the women themselves. They were forced into this. You have to remember what it is. You have to disempower the primary authority, and that's what they did. They began to seed distrust through their heroines like Oprah and the rest of these females who came out talking this empowerment. See, it's ridiculous because the spiritual component that is the greatest dynamic between the man and the woman is man is power, woman is love. And the situation is we crave that more than anything else. And women didn't know how to understand what love was, because at that time, feminism told them that that was a weakness. You can't be a wife, that's a weakness. You can't be a mother, that's a weakness. So the dynamic was destroyed. What was that dynamic? Well, the dynamic is a man gives up love to receive power. A woman gives up power to receive love.
Woo! Pressure.
And a man, the thing about it is, women don't love right away. Remember, women's whole nature is to react. You have to initiate and then compel a feeling in her through what she sees visually, what she hears specifically. So the problem is that as women, they don't have that type of stimulus anymore. Why do you think the singers, male singers, are completely engrossed? Women are engrossed by masculine singers like Teddy Pendergrass. Why do you think that? Because he commanded a presence. He demanded as an alpha male, as a sigma male.
Right.
Women.
What's the difference between an alpha male and a sigma male?
Well, an alpha male is in the battle between other males. An alpha male is into conquest to show his power, and then to the winner goes the spoils. A sigma male really don't give a damn about fighting, but can kick your ass. He would rather be by himself, choose who he wants to be with, choose who he doesn't want to be with, and in a room you wouldn't even know he's there because he would not be participating in the conversation until such time as he's asked to. He simply listens, he watches.
Observe and learns. God body. Man, pick another number 1 through 21.
19.
19. And the future of hip hop. Where do you see the future of hip hop? We see that it is taking over the world. Everybody in all of the other countries are mimicking the music. It's everywhere. It's over the globe. It's clear to see that these so-called lost Negroes have taken over the game with this culture called hip hop. Where do you see the future of hip hop?
There is no future of it. It's already dead. What you're looking at.
Woo! Wait a minute. There is no future in it.
No.
It's already dead. It's already gone.
Rap will live on, but hip hop is dead.
What's the hustle? What's the difference between rap and hip hop?
Hip hop was about joy. It was about upliftment. Rap was about singing about your misery, telling you about my real. This is where I came from, so this is what it's about. Our music was never about us suffering in our music. Our music was to take us out of the suffering, not to bring us into places where we want to do drugs, disrespect our women, kill, wet somebody, and all this type of nonsense. Remember, this was done, co-opting hip hop was done in California with a meeting that took place. And it was taking place because the corporation, which was a corporation for prisons, the correction corporations, there was a huge buildup of prisons in different states, and they needed to fill those prisons. So they had to change the context of the music. Now remember, we were ain't no stopping us now. You hear that music anymore?
Oh no! I was just asking somebody, like, you see how they systematically remove love from out of R&B. I remember even when I was born in '82, so I can still remember, that time where they used to sing love songs in the music, and it was serenades and things of that nature, right? And now it's just about going to the club and doing this whole bullshit.
When they're taking women off the streets and bringing them up and dolling them up and making them actually have to speak to people, to bringing up their creds so that they can speak to people who are in places of power and then that then gives them the credibility with the kids that they're influencing, and then you get on stage and start talking about your WAP.
So it's basically all a ploy for the kids, which leads me. You ain't got to pick this question, which leads me to this next question. You know, how real is the child trafficking, pedophilia, satanic cult epidemic?
Very real.
Very real.
I get intel from people who mine the dark web, and they tell me that stuff you see going on in the Ukraine, half of that is Putin going in after the child sex trafficking.
I told him that. I told him, I said Putin was with Trump with that breaking down on the trafficking stuff, but nobody believed it because it was coming from QAnon. So what's up with that too? Was that a real funnel, or was that they were trying to mislead us with QAnon, or what?
No, Q is still alive. Q is still working, but Q is actually military intelligence. All of you see that's being orchestrated right now is to get us on, and this is the thing, we're talking about a double-edged sword here. I don't trust anybody. I mean, I saw I was looking at what Trump did based upon the fact that he got our brothers out of jail. I'm wondering if that was just something gratuitous to get us on his side. I'm watching what's happening in the Ukraine because everybody forgot what was happening in the Ukraine, where Biden struck a deal with their mafia. The mafia owned this energy company called Burisma, and Biden sent his crackhead son to strike a deal over there and put him on the board so that he can get favors once he got in the White House. People forgot about that. The people running Ukraine are Nazis.
So these pictures that are coming out and all of this evidence that's coming out showing it's a hoax.
It's bull.
All of it is psyops.
No. All of it is the deep state. If you were to look at the soldiers there, it came out that the soldiers there have an insignia on their chest, and it came out that it was an insignia of the black sun, which was what the Nazis used as their esoteric symbol. So the Nazis, the neo-Nazis, are running Ukraine. And most people don't know that Obama, during his 8 years of administration, was actually building up, and this is what they know, but nobody's really going to tell you it is. They were building up weapons, what they call chemical and biological weapons factories there in the Ukraine, and nuclear. They were actually refining water, hard water, I believe it's called, to build nuclear weapons to aim at Russia. So what Russia was doing, what Putin said, listen, I'm going to tell you, NATO, get these boys out of here. Talk to your boys. Most people don't know about that what was going on in the back end.
So what's the purpose for the hoax dead bodies in the background? Why,
Yeah, with them coming. You mean the dead bodies that was crawling into the
yes
time?
Yes.
Yeah. It's all BS. Wasn't nobody getting killed, and Putin wasn't killing none of the people in the in Ukraine. He was after the military. He went after. This is the thing. He went after Chernobyl. And if you notice, he went after Chernobyl because that's where they were refining the water to build the nuclear weapons.
Oh wow, this is amazing, man. This is amazing. So, getting into it with the occult. So I get reports that I've read magical books and get reports that this cult of Satan is also known as the cult of Yahweh, the cult of Saturn. Can you expound on that? Or is it multiple different cults together as one doing us dirty?
There's a bunch of, it's all one. The deep state constitutes all of them. Remember,
what is the actual deep state?
The deep state is actually non-aligned nationalists. In other words, they rescinded their nationalism to join an elite group of human beings who have no nation, but work within the nations that they wish to conquer. So they get elected and they go they have you ever seen James Bond when they talk about number 1, number 2, and number 3?
Right.
Right, same thing. These people don't have a country. They're all about creating chaos in order to create the order that they want. Now
So
this dude,
what is the main vehicle they operate through? The CIA or
all of the Five Eyes.
what is the Five Eyes?
Well, there are 5 nations that their intelligence organizations all came together. I think it's Great Britain, United States, Australia, and 2 others.
Okay, because we were talking about the treaty that they have in Antarctica. How it's funny how they're fighting or appear to be fighting on this end, but they get along right there in Antarctica, making sure that nobody gets into the Hollow Earth. So
Yeah, well, it's not the Hollow Earth. It's not Hollow Earth. It's the lands beyond the poles.
oh, it's the lands beyond the poles. Okay,
Right.
so Hollow Earth. So there is no Hollow Earth.
There is a Hollow Earth. There is a
Okay,
Earth. There's a Hollow Earth, but the Hollow Earth got oceans, got everything. But the humans were cast out. They weren't allowed in there because they were bringing their pollution with them. It was a great battle at one time, and they won. They pushed the humans back, but the humans made inroads, and part of the deal that was struck is that we feed them children because what they deal with is the adrenochrome.
that's
And
what. So that's the. So is what do you know about the cult of Saturn, the cult of Yahweh?
the cult of Saturn or Satan deals with the number 6, to deal with Saturn, which is essentially the devourer of children. If you ever see a picture of Saturn or the god Saturn, he's eating a child.
Yes.
Okay, so they believe that their empowerment is not an afterlife. They believe that their task here is to live forever. So if they don't, the way that they live and the way that they absorb is they go after the youth. They feed like vampires on the youth.
That's
And
why in all of the scary movies, right, the youth are always the victim or the person that's getting chased in all of the scary movies, like Jason and Michael Myers and Chucky and all of these type of things.
well, yeah, but again, that's Hollywood entertainment or entertainment.
Oh, I thought they was telling us like, through those movies, I thought they were telling us this is what we do. We go after children like Freddy.
Some of them, yeah.
Okay. And so these cults are all of them eating? Are all of them drinking it? Is adrenochrome like the new oil or something? Or because there's millions of children and millions of black people going missing over this stuff.
Big time. Adrenochrome is the elixir of Satan.
Okay. Man, that's crazy. And so and you don't know it to be called the cult of Yahweh though, right?
Well, the cult of Yahweh, what Yah or Yaldebra, the cult itself is essentially, and I don't want to say anything to get your place in trouble, but the cult of Yah or Yahweh is not the same as. Okay, well, let me just give you this, but I don't want to take it any further because I might get your station in
Oh,
trouble.
you can't get my station in trouble. My station is the station where we get it in at. You can freedom of speech
Okay.
over here. I practice all kind of sorcery over here.
All right, brother.
Yeah. Unleash the can of worms, please.
Well, the word Yahweh actually is a kind of the things that they use today in the form of what is known as gematria was taken out of ancient Kemet. Ancient Kemet had a 4 a 4-letter name for God, which was a consonant, and it was Huhi. That's the original name for Yahweh. The ancient Kemites was Huhi. Those who came into Kemet took it and made it IHWH or IHVH because there wasn't no Y. Okay, Y never came in, and J was never used. There was no such thing as J or Y back then. That's why the Bible is only actually 500 years old.
Right.
Because the letter J wasn't used until the 17th century. So who the hell is Jesus?
Right.
So what we're looking at essentially is a cult that is okay. It goes back. It takes a little bit of history to understand what time it is. The cult of Saturn actually came through um, what the man who they called Ptolemy Sota.
Yes.
Ptolemy Sota was the one who took over after Alexander died and didn't leave a successor. He took over and he was more of a scholar, and he's the one who resurrected the Alexandrian library and paid enormous amounts of monies to people to come to bring their works so that he can solidify and consolidate all the knowledge of the world. Of course, the Christians, or what they called the Christosites at that time, went after to try to burn that down, but they took a lot of the true ancient works before they could get to it and hid it away. That's why we still have that knowledge today. Um, the problem is that the Christosites, they took over, um, and the information that we had that dealt with the pantheon of ancient Kemet began to go through Ptolemy at that time. Now, Ptolemy went to the Coptic priests and said that there was a tradition in Kemet where the pharaoh or the Nasu was made into a god. So Ptolemy said, well, I want to be a god. Make me a god. And what they did was that's where the Christosites began using his image as the image for the savior, because the word Ptolemy Sota, the word Sota means savior.
Mm.
So now that there were certain factions of the Coptic priests who said, yes, we will accommodate you. The other ones said, no, we do not put an image to the one most high. That's why the image to the one most high was Amen, which essentially was nothing more than a circle with a dot in it.
And
There
that's
was
about the Egyptian sun
right,
god Ra.
right. So what? No, Ra is not Amen.
All right. Amen and Ra is two different things.
Well,
Amen
no,
and Ra is when they join together. Amen and Ra.
right.
Yeah.
Amen is the hidden one, and Ra is revealed. So Amen Ra means the hidden one revealed. It's
Right.
revealed in the light of the sun. So when you look at the way that Christianity came, you'll see that all the popes of the Vatican call themselves legacy, or um, ones who came or who were, how do I say it? They were the heirs of the Ptolemaic dynasty, and that you have to have Ptolemaic blood or be something close to any of the Ptolemaic kings or the Ptolemaic line of bloodline to become a pope. So that Ptolemaic bloodline and all of the incursions of the so-called Hyksos, which were the Aribu, and you're looking at the Jew today is not the real Jew.
Right.
That's the other problem that we have, because they're the ones who subverted and took over a lot of the sciences and information from the ancient ones, and of course became very scholarly in that, and used it as a weapon to control. In fact, they took over the entire commercial market of the planet after and infiltrated the Masons with the help of Adam Weizsäcker. Adam Weizsäcker was the student of Lorenzo Ricci, who was I believe, the 17th um, general of the Jesuits. And it was he who gave the go ahead to create the Illuminati with Adam Weizsäcker. So the Illuminati was actually from the Vatican. The
Okay.
true Illuminati was actually the ones that were hidden. The Illuminati that was created by the Vatican was created in order to destroy the Masons, who at that time were the heretics, and they weren't really going after and kissing the Pope's ass. So those who were in the Masons became the enemy of the church. The Illuminati at that time, through Adam Weizsäcker, was created to infiltrate the Masons and to illuminate them, and that's exactly what you see today.
So the Illuminati and the Freemasons. The Illuminati has been infiltrated, or the Freemasons have been infiltrated, or both have been infiltrated.
Well, the Freemasons were infiltrated. The Illuminati was created to infiltrate the Masons.
Okay, and through the success of the infiltration of the Freemasons, Freemasonry has become a vehicle of Satan.
Yeah, in other words, that infiltration now led to what you call the P2 Masons that now run the world at this point from out of the Club of Rome.
What are P2 Masons?
The P2 Masons essentially are the ones that the Vatican, that are run out of the Vatican and out of a group of elitists who are, there's the Black Pope, right, who is the Jesuit general. There's a white Pope, the one you see, who is Francis, but then there's somebody called the Gray Pope.
Okay.
The Gray Pope runs them both.
Mm.
The Great Pope, his name is
the Great Pope with the Moors, because we've seen the Vatican white Pope bow down and kiss the feet of the Moors.
Yeah, well, that was ceremonial. The Great Pope's name is Pepe Orsini.
Okay, and he runs both of the popes.
He actually runs the affairs of the 13 bloodlines, the 13 family bloodlines, the Orsini, the Aldobrandinis, the Ghibellines, all of these, the people you don't know, the people who Rothschild and Rockefeller work for.
Right. We were told that that the Rockefellers and Rothschild, they answer to the black nobility, which is in essence, some deep stated Moors, and the Moors answer to what we call the reptoids, the the Draconians and the reptilians, and the reptilians answer to the archons, and the archons answer to
see, that's the problem. That's the lineage that those are the slave keepers, and those are the prison the wardens. Okay. The person, for instance, the Prime Minister of the United States of North America is in the Philippines.
Right.
And he is the one who gives me information that has come straight out of the archives of Yale, the Yale Library. The Yale Library has a lot of knowledge that a lot of us don't know about true history of this United States. Like I was saying, that there are buildings here that there's no way that John Wayne going after so-called wild Indians, and the fact that there was nothing out in the West, go West, young man. There were actually huge monolithic buildings that your ancestors and the giants that were here beforehand, technologies and the way that they had built buildings that today astound the greatest architects. This is what they meant, but you got to remember, after the Civil War, the Pope and the Vatican said that whatever history you find here, you ever notice they be digging up in Africa all over the place looking for so-called civilizations, beginnings, but ain't nobody dig up over here?
Right. And
yeah,
they said the real Wakanda is over here.
Everything was over here. You remember, you ever seen, they say that say for instance, the Imhotep's pyramid at Saqqara, the step pyramid, right?
Yeah.
They say that's one of the oldest pyramids that was there. But the first step pyramids were over here.
So my theory was, did they lie to us? And are we really in Africa? And
the continents were together.
Oh, they were together. And Atlantis, the sinking of Atlantis separated us?
Well, Atlantis was just a portion that were broken away when the floods came. There's a whole city under the Atlantic Ocean and under the Pacific.
Right. And so when those cities were up above the water, did that happen during that thing that they call the Venus cataclysm? Or what made those cities sink like that?
There was a tear in the dome.
Oh.
Have you seen? Yeah. I have many of my lectures. I talked about this a long time. I mean, for the last 10 years. You ever look up at the sky and see the Milky Way?
Yeah.
Right. That's a suture. That's where the mending of the dome was, because everything above it is water.
Yeah, they told, and we was just watching the Gaia channel where they said that we were once 5D, but they put a 3D code on our planes so that the reptiles don't escape and keep them in prison and turn this into a prison planet.
That's what happened with us. This is why we are occupying third density. That's why our DNA is now, most of what we are is in the junk DNA, which is why this vaccine that they gave us was to destroy us at the DNA level.
Okay. Okay. So listen, when we say that right there, just say Francine or code word it. All right. But vaccine exemptions are available. Dr. Phil Valentine gives vaccine exemptions. I give vaccine exemptions. When I speak about vaccine, I speak about the exemptions, right? And if I speak about anything of it, I speak in code. We're gonna speak in code on that one. So that's the only thing that I know they give strikes for that
Well, I've
Francine.
still got to give them my number. I don't see the number up there.
Oh yes. Let me hold on. Let me get the
For our services, if they want
yeah.
to in our university begins next week.
Hold on.
Actually,
What's the number? Give me
that's 800-847-1291.
847. That's 1291. And this is the number for
For to get in contact with us for all our services. And our
okay.
services, are natural health, relationship consultations, metaphysical consultations, and the university, as well as we have a homeschooling for children online.
Okay. We're about to, and you guys make sure that y'all get that number and y'all call in for those services. So, as speaking about the Francine, when I first I found that finding strange and weird how you know they so slowly they were so preaching it so hard, but I guess some things happened to where the mandate got left up and it's like they went to immediately to the next distraction, right? It was like, forget about all that stuff we was preaching about the jab, and hell, pay attention to Ukraine. Um, do you think that the Ukraine thing is a distraction because that movement with the jab didn't work, or what?
Well, it's I believe it's multiple things. I believe it has to do with the change in the financial system, and I believe that we're going to hit a low based upon inflation.
Is so that cryptocurrency stuff, that's a scam, or is that real?
No, it's real.
Okay, so we should invest in crypto
We should invest in crypto that have utility and use case.
because they said Ethereum. They just found out Ethereum was like a fraud or something.
Well, they didn't find it was a fraud. They had no use case. Ethereum is based in gas. In other words, if you were to conduct a business deal with Ethereum as your method of payment, you'd pay the amount that was asked for plus gas fees. So if you're paying, say, $50 for something, you'd end up paying $65 or $75 for it. Because the gas fees, in order to make the Ethereum coin, is enormous. Let's not even talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin itself, to even create a coin or to create the Bitcoin and the demand, would take the energy output of the country of Portugal to make 1 or 2 Bitcoin.
So how are they making so many coins without?
They're not making so many. Yeah, because if you should see it, the way that, China, they can't do it anymore because China was the hub where all of the Bitcoin was being made. And they put a lock on it right now because it was exhausting. They had to outsource for energy in order to just keep up with Bitcoin. Plus, they don't know who this dude Satoshi Nakamoto is.
So do you think Bitcoin will be the new money?
No.
So if Bitcoin is going to crash and burn,
Bitcoin is going to fade out and probably become I would say a store of value, like gold. You don't spend gold.
oh, so Bitcoin is going to be probably the new thing that the currency is backed by.
No. Gold is always going to be what currency is backed by.
Okay.
What you have to have, however, is see, there was a system in place that the banks use to send money back and forth to one another. And that was called the SWIFT system. That SWIFT system is antiquated because you got to wait 3 to 7 days before you get your money. And by the time it goes through 6 and 7 different banks before you get it, everybody got a piece.
Mm.
You see? So what happens, the new system, which is XRP, which is Ripple, it don't cost damn near nothing. It costs like a quarter of a penny to do a transaction in seconds.
Wow.
So now that new technology is what Putin is going to use since they shut down his SWIFT. SWIFT shut down his ability to access the bank. But then what happened? All of the people, all of the creditors that are owed money from Russia just got shut down with it. Biden is a jackass.
Right. So our next question is, because this brings us to the next question, what is your advice? What do we do as a people? We hear that the economy is going to crash. We hear that this is going to happen, that is going to happen. Some people say 2025. Some people say 2030. What do we do? Do we invest our money in land and physical things that can survive a crash that we can use for barter and trade? Do we keep our money in the bank? Do we take our money out the bank? Because the dollar isn't going to be worth anything. So for the people that have money, right, what do we do?
Well, you put it in non-depreciating assets. What do I mean by that? Gold, silver, palladium, platinum, copper. What you got to do is the only things that have survived all forms of monetary ups and downs is substance. And the truest substance that has always survived is gold. Now
What about land?
Yeah, well, I'm going to get to that.
Okay, cool.
There's a substance called glint. There's a website called Glint where you can actually convert your fiat into gold, and that comes out of Switzerland. It becomes as an account that they hold up in Switzerland. And you can keep that because essentially you can buy grams of gold, and that gold itself appreciates because now that we're getting ready to crash and everybody in the world is getting ready to go back on gold, you hold on to any amount of gold and it's going to be appreciating where in that same account, if you got fiat, your fiat, because of inflation, is depreciating in value. So what you have to do is to get into something like Glint, GLINT.com. They have others, of course, and you have to sign up. You can do it on your phone, and once you've done that, the Glint now will show you how to convert your fiat into gold and just keep it there. You don't have to spend it. That'd be something that you can hold on to as the dollar begins to tank. Meanwhile, as the dollar tanks, gold will appreciate, and therefore you have an out.
So basically, if I got any, and so what would be the strategy? Would I take $100,000, put it on some gold, and let it just sit and keep investing my money, the money that I can't spare, into precious metals and gold and silver and copper?
Well, what I would do is, if you do have $100,000, you take $50,000 and put it into the Glint, where it will be a store of value for you, where it can appreciate, and take the other $50,000 and buy substance gold, like have gold in your house and silver in your house, and have a gun in your house as well.
Wow. Yeah, because when the dollar crash, everybody gonna be looking for houses to rob, right?
Value.
Okay, so what year do you expect this thing to hit the fan? 2025, or what's your prophetic professional polymath of when this thing is going to crash and burn?
Well, it's already on the way down. I mean, I hope everybody can see that.
Well, how many years we got left before it hits the fan and everybody woke up to it?
Maybe 2.
So about 2024, 2025.
Right. That's the pivotal turnaround to 2020 to 2030, because the deep state is going to probably, because Trump is getting ready to come back into office, they're going to stage they're going to have to use an excuse to make sure that you shut down, because The shutdown didn't work with the so-called jab. Okay,
Right.
that was a beta test. The jab was a beta test, not only to kill a few million, but to see how well it works. Because 2030 is actually the due date for the deep state.
Okay. So when you're the paint us a picture. What does this 2024 2025 crash and burn looks like? Who are going to be the survivors versus the ones who fall to the wayside? Or what does that mean for Black America?
You ever heard the story of Noah and the Ark?
Yes.
Everybody was laughing at him, right?
Yep.
Well, uh, let's just call this a negative flood. It's going to wipe away everything positive. They are beta testing the new financial system where there's no dollars. They're putting you and everybody else who took that jab is now on the file in the AI, in the artificial intelligence system. Okay? Matter of fact, there's materials in the people's bodies right now that are being broadcast to the AI.
So that is so basically, using a little code word, when those chemicals kick in, what that's going to look like? Is it going to look like a Night of the Living Dead type of thing, or
No, it's going to look like heart attacks.
everybody just dropping like flies?
Right. As you see in my last webinar, I showed you that hundreds of athletes are dying around the world, dropping dead on the field. Because it's been happening to young men, especially because of the fact that our hearts beat faster than women, they're bigger than women, and we push more blood. Therefore, we push more of the poison through it. And so therefore, the clots that happen, we call it the clot shot.
Man, that buzzer beat, I call it ducking the Floyd Money Mayweather jab. You got to duck that Floyd Money Mayweather jab. Because man, it's like something out of a movie. It's surreal. So 2025, 2024, and we got another question for you. Dietary regimen. First and foremost, what is your dietary regimen, and what dietary regimen do you recommend for the people?
More greens, more vegetables, and I suggest, and this is very important, I suggest that you look up or call that 800 number that I gave you and speak directly to my wife, Dr. Nalani, and talk about this thing we have called JP, which is actually Juice Plus. Now, Juice Plus is concentrated nutrition. It is fruits, vegetables, berries, and omegas, which is omega 3 through omega 9. These are not just vitamins, they're not supplements. Okay? These are not something that you take in lieu of. This is food that they have scientifically learned to dehydrate and maintain the enzymic content. So you're actually taking in live food in a capsule form. That's one of the saving graces that allows me to speak for 12 hours straight.
Right, and that I was just telling them about. Man, me and you need to trade. I need to send you I need to send you a Miracle Food platinum package. You need to send me some of that good concentrated capsule food that you got, that good cell food. And speaking of which, your views. What are your views on Dr. Sebi?
My views, well, he was a great.
far as was it a conspiracy? All of the stuff that's floating around. Just give us your founding father dissertation. About this great man who started this movement that we all have jumped on the train, but he's not here any longer. But we've continued. We continue to, basically give him his flowers, right, for waking us up to a lot of these intracellular cleanses. Brother. Sabi, and Baba Dick Gregory, you three, we can remember for sure. You guys always preached about our health and how our health was our wealth. So, definitely let expound on Dr. Sabi, if you knew him, or if you didn't know him, or whatnot.
I knew Dr. Sabi. He and I kind of had some run-ins together, but we were, it's just like when, brothers, family, we have some running spats because we disagree on certain points, but we all wanted to help the people. So yes, I mean, he was a great man, and his works will live on through his family and through the works in the island. I mean, Honduras, where he is. Um, so, as far as the work that he's done and the legacy he's left, much respect to him and what he has done to uplift the people. We were a little bit at odds based upon what HIV/AIDS was. That's where our contentions were. I didn't believe that HIV/AIDS, I believed it was a hoax back when everybody believed it was a real thing. And that was back in 1984 when the word about this new disease hit. In 1985, after I did my due diligence, I found out that it was a hoax. And when
And
I
so,
went,
what was it actually? Was it a real disease, or if it was a hoax? Then what were people actually dying from?
well, if you have a minute or two, I'll tell you the story before we go.
All right, let's get it.
Well, when AIDS hit back, or when we were given the so-called breakdown, and the NIH and the CDC started coming out talking about this new disease called HIV, human immunodeficiency syndrome, and AIDS, which is acquired immune deficiency syndrome, came out. Um, at that time, it seemed a little strange to me how something that was as benign as the HIV could actually just migrate to become AIDS. The lie was that HIV caused AIDS. And of course, being that I was a naturopath, it really astounded me that other naturopaths bought on to that lying narrative that was given to us in the news. And so a lot of the people that I was associated with at that time, we had kind of separated our ways during the time that I was battling with not only um, Fauci and the doctors in my community who were spreading AZT and the crap that they were giving to our people because they had this diagnosis. I was estranged from the radio when a very close friend of mine, who had something called the GBE experience in New York, I was not allowed. Matter of fact, they threw me off the Apollo stage when I began talking about the fact that it was a hoax. Now, fast forward 4 to 5 years, European scientists like Duisberg came out and said it's bullshit. It was a hoax. And only one brother came forward at that time and apologized to me around that. And so I just stayed away and just did my thing and taught to whomever it was that would listen to me. Now, the truth around AIDS was not started by a green monkey in Africa. That was the lie. You can't catch AIDS. AIDS is a degenerative disease, which means you have to be practicing degenerative habits in order for you to have that particular condition. The true origins of AIDS happened in the homosexual communities of New York and California, where the homosexual males were using something called poppers, which essentially turned out to be amyl nitrite, which was the sister to which was butyl nitrite, which was the sister to amyl nitrite. Now, amyl nitrite and butyl nitrite is something that they used to break it and inhale it, and it was formerly used for people who had a heart condition called angina. Now, what happened was the CDC and the FDA began to regulate amyl nitrate because it had cancer. It was a carcinogen. Okay, so they regulated the amyl nitrate, but they never regulated the butyl nitrate, which was the sister and had the same lethal components in there. So what this guy did, I forgot the name of the homosexual chemist. I'll get the name for you if you wish, but that's something I'm supposed to be doing with the brother.
What do you know? What do you know? Are you familiar with this?
No, I'm not.
No, this book right here.
No, I'm not.
This is written by
Olatunji Mwamba.
Yeah,
No, I
and
don't know anything about that.
this is a. It just came out. It's a wonderful, wonderful dissertation about what you're talking about right now. How these organizations uh, place this within the degenerate community, and made sure that they were the community that were like the Trojan horse that spread it throughout our
Yeah, and they
people.
spread it throughout Africa too, because it became a business. They used to sell it as names like locker room and bolt and these different names that they used to give to the homosexual community who would be partying in discos at that time. And the thing about it is that once you did the popper, they called it poppers because when you broke it, it made a popping sound, and the fumes you inhaled, and then that would go up into the head, and there would be this euphoric feeling. But the one side effect that most of the homosexuals found was that once they inhaled it, the anus began to dilate.
Oh wow!
Right. So it became the party favor of the homosexual community in New York and California. And the dude who was headquartered in California was shipping out to Africa at the same time
And they was getting Africans high on it.
and South America at the same time with that butyl nitrite. So now that was happening in 1972, 73, 74, 75. And now 76, 77, 78. What happened was these homosexuals began showing up into clinics with a depreciated defense system, and that became known as GRID, gay related immunodeficiency syndrome,
Oh, you preaching tonight?
because that's what got me estranged from my own community, because they didn't know all of this and they didn't even want to hear it from me. And so what happened now, that became the segue, because at the same time, back in 1972 to 74, during the time when Reagan was in office, Reagan began to split up the so-called cancer industry. They said, listen, you had all this money, all this time, and you ain't come up with a cure yet. He says, what I'm going to do is I'm going to deregulate your industry, and anybody who got something to say can actually get funded now. And they said, oh man, we ain't going to be able to get back, because the FDA, the ABA, all the pharmaceuticals say we can't get into the public coffers anymore. What we going to do, y'all? Well, they looked around for something that they could no longer use, or because essentially we already knew what to do with bacteria and we knew what to do with a fungus, but nobody knew what to do with a virus. And a
Mm-hmm.
virus at that time had no life. It does not think, it does not ambush, it doesn't do a damn thing. It ain't nothing but dead organic matter. That's all it is. So
Mm-hmm.
what they did was, and this is the secret, they began to give life to the virus and then took everything from the cancer industry, doctors, the science, the methodology, and moved it lock, stock, and barrel over into the AIDS industry.
And had people like Magic Johnson, the face of it, marketing it.
Right. Well, Magic, I remember when we were trying to get to Magic to tell him it was all bullshit. And he
Ooh.
went ahead and nobody would listen to us.
Man, so that brings me. Before we move on, they want to know, what is your zodiac sign?
I don't give that out
Okay, he doesn't give that out.
because people can use that. People who
Okay,
do magic.
okay. Well, I'm an Aries. I always let everybody know I'm an Aries. You always know a lot about a person about their zodiac sign. And the next is these the Dr. Umars and the Brother Polites and these young pharaohs that have stained the community with these antics, because you're a founding father of this conscious community, and a lot of the rhetoric that these young brothers are preaching and regurgitating are from the lectures that they watched you on, and now you have the conscious community moving to this internet, and a lot of these internet fellas are quote unquote tainting the community with these deplorable actions of sexual misconducts and mistreating of themselves and black women. Would you like to expound on, the especially because we have faith in these people. We donated to these people. We put our trust in these people, and they turned out to be duds. So
Well,
people want to know what's your take on that.
Yeah, you got to remember that they were supposed to take over from the old heads, us. I passed the torch on to Brother Black Dot, Brother Rich, Brother King Simon. Let me see who else was there. There were a couple of brothers that were actually doing the work. Brother Black Dot. These brothers also, man, there's so many of them. But the main thing is that passing the torch, these people who actually took up the torch were not the ones we gave it to.
Right.
Right. So what they found out was that they could use, I call them cut and paste intellectuals.
Right. copy paste heads. All right.
Yeah. And what happened is they used their brilliance as a means the way that hip hop was. It was battling. Me and Bobby never battled.
Right.
Why did we have to battle? Dr. Clark, who was my mentor, he didn't battle with Dr. Ben. Right. There was nobody battling anything.
So it almost seems like like they're plants or something sent to destroy our movement.
Well, I don't know if they were plants or not, or they were just useful, the useful tools that by their own actions did they cause the kind of chaos in our community. Matter of fact, if you would look at some of the lectures that I did, I warned them not to go into this thing where they were debating. Okay. It ended up at one point where they were doing the pat down. Imagine doing a pat down to come into a place where you were supposed to be getting about consciousness and so forth. They did a pat down and somebody brought a gun there because they were going to shoot one of the presenters.
My goodness. So
I warned them that if you were to take knowledge like this, it will destroy you. You have to have a certain type of mindset to be able to teach at that level, because you're not just speaking words, you're actually manipulating vibrations.
You're speaking spells.
Yeah, you're spelling when you speak of certain words that agitate people's consciousness. And when you do that, you are changing the waters that are around you, and you are making them either polluted or you are actually turning them into spring water. In other words, in my school, matter of fact, the University of Commission Sciences, we teach that everything is water. Everything. The air you're breathing is water.
Yes, it is.
So what we are talking about is every thought process, every word spoken, everything that you desire or your emotions feel, you are qualifying the waters around you. And that becomes the template that susceptible people absorb into their being, and they react that way. So if you have an atmosphere of people who are talking hostilities and this thing of, I forgot what somebody called the general versus Sonetta and
yeah, you see this person versus this person. And they're arguing all of these facts that, like, see how you're talking about these facts, but they'll get on there and argue these facts and make us pick a side. Like it's trying to divide and conquer us.
Well, the beauty of some of them is that they said they understood by their mistakes and they're changing their course. Like Brother Sonetta, he's changed his course now, and he no longer has this against that. Who's going to say this? And okay, he said this. What you going to say now? And the whole 9 yards. That has become a mistake. That divided our community more than anything else.
Yes,
and people like the ones you mentioned, robbing people and stealing from people, so much so that I was called in to arbitrate because it was going to be blood. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Listen, man. Man, it's crazy. So you have been married for quite a long time, right?
I was married 3 times. Once to my first wife, who gave me my dear children for 19 years. Another time, uh, we're still in touch with each other. We're still good, close friends. The other time was to a person named Queen of Fua, and that was for like 3 to 5 years. And my present marriage is about 20 something years old. I'm in my 70s now. So,
Okay, so our question is,
mhm.
you have even that 19-year one. They got people that wish they could make it to 19 years. God dang it. Okay, you're you know you've had some pretty long marriages just by those three examples right there.
Yeah,
So we wanna know, what is the key to having a successful a marriage of longevity.
trust that the gender that you represent occupies a space of wisdom instead of emotions and self-centeredness. The first thing you have to understand is there has to develop a trust. If you can't trust one another, it ain't gonna work. And today, the way that I see young girls and the young guys be playing off of one another, it's sickening. And our young ladies have to come back to reality. They think that they could do like men, have what these young people call bodies, 10, 20, 30, some 100 bodies. And yeah.
All
And
right.
then after that, they come back and say, well, I want to start over again and walk down the aisle in white. Don't work like that. The time when women are at their best, when they have their highest um, value, is between the ages of 18 and 23, 24. That's the time when they're at their most fertile. But that's the time that feminism, through the act of wanting to deal with a birth control and population control, have convinced young girls that they have to go after a career during that time. And so after they reach 30, when their eggs ain't fresh no more, they say, okay, I'm ready to settle down. And by that time, the men who have taken a slow time, see, women, they develop faster than men. Okay?
Right.
There's a reason for that. It takes men longer because we have more of a duty than the women do.
Yes, we do.
Okay? We have to make sure that whatever it is that we become has the ability to provide and protect, because then you don't have any kind of sexual cred. Women are the sexual gatekeepers. Okay?
Right.
In their youth, they can have any man they want. That's why they got bodies built up. And don't believe any girl that says she only has like, no, I only have two. No, you don't. 2 times 20. Okay, that's you just start times in. Any man that says, well, I have 100 bodies, no, you go ahead and minus that by a half.
Right.
Okay, because we know about the liars. But anyway, you have to understand that society has destroyed the ability for us to procreate and to create families, because men create families, women don't create families. Single mothers and single parent households, single woman or single mother households, that's not a family, that's a survival unit.
Right.
Okay, and so they have been told that during the times of their 18 to 25, that they can go out, get your career girl, you go girl, you just get your power girl, you can sleep with whoever you want, it don't matter. Yes, it does. It does, because your commodity, everything that is you and your youth, your body, what you can do to procreate. How can we trust this? If that's all gone, and everything on TikTok is showing you just how these young girls are today, I have to warn my grandson
Right.
against the pool of girls that are out there today. Are they all like that? No. But the majority of the girls today, especially if they're going to college, no.
You're right. You're right about that. So that this brings me straight into the next question. Exactly. Um, po- polygamy or monogamy. What say ye?
Well, we've always been polygamous men.
Okay.
A man can impregnate 10 women, and a woman can only have one baby at a time.
Right.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so
Polygamy has always
do you
been.
think we're moving back into that dynamic? Or
Yeah, but again, you're living in a Christian country who wanted to destroy that particular ancient autochthonous reality. In fact,
woo,
the women are the ones who actually control the polygamous situation, because those men who died,
mm,
the men who died, you can't have a young girl running around the village or running around town who don't have a man messing with your husband. So the women got together and said, look, we can't have stray young girls out here, because we know that that's the ones that the men are going to want. Now, we either do it through ritual and we set up ground rules. And so the women used to run the household. They ran it. There was the older woman, who was usually the head wife, who knew what the husband wanted and what the husband was about. Each one of the wives had their own home or had their own cars, had their own things, and they brought all their monies to a central point, which was the family. Nobody had a mother, just a mother. Everybody was the mother. We don't have that anymore.
right.
Why? Because of Christianity. And
Mm.
everybody black now want to be a Christian. Talking about Jesus. They don't even know who the hell Jesus is. You ever met the man? No, but I heard about him. Well, you heard about him, so you're dealing with a secondhand somebody who told you that somebody lived 2,000 years ago, walked on water, healed everybody, got crucified, died, and was raised up into heaven. Now, according to heaven, you believe that there's something called outer space. So if he's rising up into heaven 2,000 years from now, he must be still rising up. Because where the hell is heaven if there's an outer space? We are screwed because of the education system. I don't call it education system. It's the education system, because
Mm.
it kills your critical thinking.
Murders it. My goodness. And so the killing of that critical thinking, they say they call it the dumbing down of America. What you seeing how that has succeeded with the TikTok era, and everybody's just caught into this superficial world. You being a metaphysical master, knowing that the invisible world is in control of all of this. What is the advice, that you can give us? What is the wisest thing that you can give a young person in this world right now? Like, what's the wisest thing you can tell me? I'm your nephew, I'm your kinfolk. We at the party, we at the barbecue, and you about to drop some wisdom on me. What can you give us?
I would suggest to the young men, forget all the worries about whether or not you can find a girl. And the young girls don't look to young men as their future. The reason why young men take so long to mature is because they have more responsibility in the end. So just because you get, and I'm saying to the young men, because we're the ones that are targeted lately, our young black men, all men, we've been catering to the woman over these last 30 years of feminism, and we've left the young males out to dry. So my whole thing, I wrote a book called The Wounded Womb. If you want to be interested in getting the book, you can call me and I can tell you how to get the book. The Wounded Womb was like, I wrote that like 35 years ago, and everything in that book is happening today. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I say to the young men, and as my father told me, he said, don't worry about it. He said, think about it. What's more likely to be valuable? Something that takes a long time to come to age, like wine, or something that has a shelf life, like milk? So women come into their womanhood from the time they're like 16, or the time when they have their menstruation cycle, which is earlier and earlier, by the way, because as a doctor of naturopathic medicine, I've been seeing women telling me that their daughters are bleeding from the time they're 8 and 9 and 10 years of age, which is showing you that we're degenerating.
Is
So
it the food, or is just an overall conscious thing?
food, the type of consciousness, the stresses that are being put on children today to be adults and not be children. Back like when we were out, we were children. We were children who played like children.
Right.
We had a childhood. The children today don't have childhood.
Right.
Look at it. Okay, they take away childhood from a child and they fast forward the child, and anything, and there's a saying we have here: quick to ripe, quick to rot. So when you know that a woman, if she has a very short window to bring forth healthy children, anywhere between 16 and 25. That's a short window. We men, we can go up into the 80s and have children. Okay? So your value doesn't happen, I'm telling this to the young men, until after you 30 years of age. And the problem with women today is they think that they can whore and score all through the years that they have their youth, and they're beautiful and their nails and the whole 9 yards, and they can get any man they want, not realizing that they are a depreciating asset. And that's their womb. Because the older you get, the eggs ain't getting any fresher.
Right.
Okay? So now what's happening is, as they begin to deteriorate in their later years, you as a young man begin to appreciate, because what you're doing, you're studying to get your bags. Right. That's when your value comes. Don't worry about your 20s. You don't got burnout at that time. Grind in your 20s. You're going to be an architect, grind as an architect. Get into the STEM fields. The STEM fields is what? Science, technology, economics, mathematics. You get into the fields that give you the money. The ones that complain that, well, we women don't get the same. We only get 71 cents to your dollar. Of course, because that's the dollar. You choose the occupations that give you 71 cents.
Right.
Okay? So I'm saying to you young men, you stay at whatever craft that you're actually mastering all through your 20s. Because by the time you hit your 23rd, your 26, 27, 28, that's when your value goes up and her value goes down.
Wow. And now getting into the grand question, I wanted to make sure I save these last two questions for last. This is a simple yes or no. 420 friendly. What is your take on the Holy Mother marijuana?
Oh, you mean Mary Jane?
Yeah.
Rick
Roll,
James.
Yeah. Rolling down the river, proud Mary, keep on burning.
Yeah, well, let me just say this. The hemp plant, they call it sativa, the last name. Okay, cannabis sativa. Anything that you see with the word sativa at the end, it means beneficial to mankind. Okay? Wow. The hemp plant builds houses, shoes, clothing. The one who demonized the hemp plant was William Randolph Hearst, the one who created yellow journalism. He did that because he bought up a whole set of trees, a whole forest, and he ran a newspaper business, and he wanted to corner the paper market for all the other newspapers to come and buy from him. But back then, a lot of the paper was made from the hemp plant. So he had to demonize the hemp plant. And so if you look at this song, you have to look at the song that Pancho Villa sang, La cucaracha, yo no puedo caminar. And they would say, de marijuana. That's where the word marijuana came from.
Right, because somebody was telling me about, the endocannabinoid receptors, and we're made to receive, our bodies is actually made to receive cannabinoids, right? And so
cannabinoids, yeah. But you see, the thing about it is that the spirit of the hemp plant that has a female spirit on it. That if you remember, for you, because I used to cultivate the chalice myself at one time. And what happened is you have to cut off the male and nurture the female. That's where all of the cannabinoids and the tetrahydrocannabinol actually comes in. It's at the female part.
Right.
Okay. Now, what happens is the more you take that in, because back in the day I used to do the sorcery for my Rasta brothers who got caught with it, with the cheeb, to keep them out of court. And what they found at that time was because the tetrahydrocannabinol gets into the fat in your body, it causes a disruption in your sperm count. So you have to be very, very cautious about taking too much of that stuff into your system.
Right. Too much of anything is a bad thing.
You're damn right.
Right. And it takes me to the next thing. It's basically a two-part, right? Chakras. What are your, give us the chakras. Give us your view on the chakras.
The wheels of fortune, you mean?
Yes, sir. They call me the chakra doctor, and the reason why they call me the chakra doctor is because I invented FCA yoga. It's a guided meditation where one can physically feel as physical sensations all 29 of the chakras, 29 of their chakras as it is in my system. And I've healed so many people with activating their kundalini and regenerating their muscles and regenerating their bones and fibers. And that's how I started off. And then it grew into, natural miracle food and things of that nature. So, can you explain to us about your relationship with the chakras?
Well, there are actually 9 major chakras, and there are actually 360 minor chakras in the body, which bring up to 9. And these chakras were actually discovered by an ancient African society that migrated north into what we know as Asia and became what we call the Chinese dynasty, the Shang dynasty. And the Yellow Emperor was the one who actually wrote the book on these pressure points. And these pressure points were actually seen to be chakra nodes that had to be in alignment, which is why they used the acupuncture in order to align the body. And they found all of the nodal points where you would be able to align the chakras that way. I raised it to the 6th, and the 6th here comes to a point where it has to cross at the base of the skull, because what happens is the Ida and the Pingala, which is what represented by the 2 snakes, then the caduceus, that's what prevents the snakes become the guardian to the upper room. And the Ida and the Pingala, which represent the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system, that has to drop in order for the feminine energy force, which is Kundalini, or what they call the Nibonika fire, to rise. And then the 6th gate becomes the hard gate to break. It's like a snapping of the neck. And then what happens is that then breaks through. That's the crossification. That's where
you're literally describing FCA yoga. Like, that's what everybody describes, this energy that crawls all throughout their body, and they feel this tingling and this warmth and this sensation. So you're attesting that the chakras are real, and the black people that's coming talking about the chakras, they're of the devil, and that's devil talk when you're talking about the chakras. What do you got to say to those?
Well, I would say go back to your Bible and get yourself lost in your delusions. In fact, the entire so-called Revelations actually is a book about the chakras. The original name for the book of Revelations was called the Initiation of the Anointed Iesus. Initiation of Anointed.
That's pressure.
The Initiation of the Anointed Iesus was actually written by a man named Apollonius of Tyana. Apollonius became, his nickname was P-O-L, Paul. He became the Paul of the Christian Bible. Apollonius went to India and studied Kundalini Yoga, came back and wrote about his escapades in his initiation. The Anointed Iesus, that's where the word Jesus comes from, the Greeking of it.
Yep.
So now what happened is, with the initiation of Anointed Iesus was changed into the Aramaic, out of the Aramaic into the English, it became the Initiation of Anointed Iesus. From the Initiation of Anointed Iesus, the Catholic Church picked it up and called it the Book of the Apocalypse, which meant the Revelations. The Book of the Apocalypse was now changed back about 700 years ago into the Book of Revelation. And the book of Revelation speaks of the seven cities, the seven wheels, the seven, what is it? The seven, well,
The
you understand.
trumpets, the
Yeah,
seven
the seven
archangels.
trumpets, all of that had to do with the major chakras.
So is that what the 7 days of the week is accounted for? And God made the earth in 7 days.
No, the 7 days is actually dei. That is a Latin term for gods. And each one of those so-called deis was actually after. This is going to be in my new book called Cosmic Codex, Book of the Earth. And the days, the 7 days, was actually dei, which
Yeah.
is the seven gods that were worshipped in ancient Kemet.
So the day is like Venus's day, right? And so, because I was reading this book about the spheres, the seven spheres, and it's called Hermetic Magic or something like that.
Yeah, the seven spheres was representative of what they saw in the so-called in the sky. Remember, the first book that was ever translated was actually the stars, what they call the every religion is based in what I call astrotheology.
Hmm.
And the first book ever written was the book on the dome. The dome has all of the information, and it aligns us. The light from those so-called stars.
The book of the it's called the Book of the Dome, and we can look that up and buy that book.
No,
Or
no, 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 no,
okay,
no. That's
okay.
that's my interpretation for my new book.
Oh, okay. You definitely gotta make sure that we get our hands on that book, man, because I'm a bookworm and I love to read books and I love to absorb, the energy of the author through the book because that's their innermost insights right there that they're putting on paper. Is like God writing all over again. You know what I mean?
That's
And, and speaking of which, we're about to get into the topic that everybody. Before this, is Bobby Hemmett dead or alive? We were arguing about that before you came on. We said we was going to ask you.
I'm not sure. I haven't heard from Linda, so I don't know. I've
Okay.
been trying to reach. I don't have a number for him, and his closest person there, I forget the brother's name. Um, uh, he's on. He does his sorcery and his magic too. He was with Bobby for a while. Um, his name will come to me, but yeah, I don't know about
Because they
Bobby.
were saying he had some people in the chat were saying he died of a stroke, and some people say that he didn't die of a stroke. He's still alive and he's still with.
No. He didn't die of the stroke. He had the stroke. I don't know if he deteriorated at all. Because we were hoping he would come back. I was trying to see if I could get to him, maybe send him a little gift or something. But the number I called for Linda didn't work anymore.
Okay, and now we're getting into the big topic, the thing.
Yeah, we got a little
Magic. We're about to get out of here. Magic and sorcery. Magic and sorcery. The people here, we got a lot of black people who I feel like should be relearning and delving off into the worlds of magic and sorcery because it's our stolen heritage, right? But then you got these on the fencers, and then you got the ones who are they just think that because they're practicing Christianity, they're not practicing sorcery. When Christianity, you got a book with a talking donkey. That's Harry Potter all day. So, what can you expound to the people as, my advice is always, man, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of heaven is within. That's the magic. Man, go out and start practicing this magic that was stolen from us, and relearning it and gaining the knowledge. What is your advice to the people as it is on magic and sorcery?
Well, science by any other name is still science. Science is the pursuit of something that in the immediate examination of it is unexplainable. So as you delve deeper into natural science, which is what we call magic, which is based in what they call the magi, and the card, I think it's the second card or the first card of the so-called the Jehudi's deck, the tarot, which is the 22. They were 22 pictures that were given as the assignment to the neophyte when he was first raised in the temples of ancient Kemet. So, as far as magic is concerned, that word was essentially estranged from the Christian, uh, I guess, lexicon, because that could only be done by Jesus Christ. And they took away the ability for you to perform magic. And I'm not talking about sleight of hand, I'm talking about alchemy, changing things from one substance or one physical material to another. They call that chemistry. Well, where do you think that the word chemistry comes from? It comes from the word chem, which is actually from ancient Egypt. That's what ancient Egypt was called, chem. And so the word alchemy was essentially the word magic. And if you look at the word alchemy and you look at the word chem, it's black, all right? And it's al meaning the black, magic. If you want to talk about magi, it's magic, the magic of the black. And the works of the black essentially is the mystery of how they used to change metals, the mystery of how they used to heal, because the barbarians didn't know how to heal using the natural sciences. So they used to think about it as magic. The Pope is one of the top astrologers and astronomers on the planet.
So it's safe to say that religions, religion is magic, or religion is sorcery, or
Religion is
religion is
actually
science.
mouthing the magical words, but not using it for the intention that it was actually first created for. Plus, the English language has no magic in it. There is no template of magic that is in the Akasha based upon the words that are formulated in English. The ancient languages that still retain knowledge of magic is the ancient Kemetic language, the ancient Babylonian language, the ancient Sumerian languages, and the ancient the, the dialect of the what they call the Tamonkan,
You
who
don't
are the ones they call the Olmecs over here.
you don't
Yes,
you don't feel like the black people and the many people who have been using English for so long has by default given it power because energy flows where attention goes?
the attention is the power, not the words in English.
Mm,
Your intention is what's doing it. Now, when you use a more efficient weapon, like the magical words, if you know the way that you say, for instance, if you want to do a magical word and you want to disrupt the English language, because the English language is linear, magic is three-dimensional, fourth dimensional, fifth dimensional. You cannot use the English language, which is to codify you to a specific resonance of consciousness, which is third density. You can't use that. You have to tap into the fourth and fifth. And the English language doesn't do that. What I do teach my students is how to create a sigil. The sigil can disrupt it so that all that's left is the intention. So, what do? You make an affirmation and you write it out in a linear way. You write the linear intention out. Now, what you do is you look at all the words that you're actually written out and start taking out all the duplicated letters, and then take out certain letters that you feel doesn't belong. And before you know it, the original intention is in your mind now, but anybody else looking at it wouldn't know what the hell that was.
right.
Now you take all those letters and you scramble them up and you put them together in a kind of magical thing, like the sigils of Solomon. And you take those words and you twist them into a figurine. Now you already know what they mean. The figurine now is imbued with your intention, and that becomes a reverberator of your intention so that you don't get too caught up in the linear perspectives of your English language. That's what stops the magic from happening. So now you take that and you put it on an altar, you bless your candles, you can even you fix your candles. Well, that's when I practice my sorcery, and then have that energy in a bowl or underneath a bowl, and speak into the water what you want of your intention. As the water evaporates, the intention is working for you without you even having to think about it. Because every time you think about it, you stop the actual progress of the thing from appearing.
Right.
Okay, so yes, magic has been done because we had the fire, the air, the water, and the earth, which turns out to be the WORD of God. We knew how to use the word because the word we spoke in the ancient tongues were more connected to the Most High than these creatures that we're dealing with. That's giving us this crap about Jesus Christ walking on the water. Yeah, they're trying to shut me down. Hold on.
You already know, man. Get it in.
What they're trying to do is to shut me down. I'm not going to be shut down.
Right.
So you have to make sure that when you are doing your magic, that your intention is not seen by your physical and analytical mind.
Okay. And so what do you say about all of the people who are actually using the English language and with the English language accomplishing magical feats?
They can accomplish magical feats, but it won't work past a certain duration because the English language keeps changing every time.
So the English language keep evolving and changing.
Right. Whereas the ancient languages don't change.
Stay the same, which gives them more powerful, makes them more powerful like a vampire.
More focused, and the Akasha knows that language because that's the language that the
But isn't the English language stolen from black people?
No, it's bullshit. The English language is a conglomeration of Latin and Greek and Old English. And of course, yeah, we taught them to speak, but we didn't want to deal with their own dialect because the phonetics that come from their phylogenic reality doesn't match ours. Language is based upon the experience, the generational experience of a particular species, a particular race, and their consciousness is in that language. So why would you want to use the consciousness that was formulated by your oppressor in order to do magic that frees you? It's ridiculous. Not unless you're going to use it against them. The only way to battle that is to battle what it is that battle them in this purest light.
Yeah, that's what what about, that's what I'm saying. What about the people who are using that magic and battling them and winning?
No, they're using it as the weapon. That's not the weapon. You use it against that.
Right. You using it. So you, like, for instance, a person that doesn't know shit from pudding, right? But they're black, and we automatically carry, this magical frequency of melanin in our DNA. Our computer, our AI computer is able to recognize that thing when you said take away this and take away that and take away that. Isn't that like programmed in our cellular Akashic memory to automatically do in case our forefront consciousness forget?
No, it's to get rid of the fact that you are using temporal things to deal in the non-temporal world. That's just an exercise because true magic doesn't need any tools.
Right. Okay. Now you're preaching. All right.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you want to do you want to take take them through kindergarten and so forth. Yeah, we could do that. Because all that does is just formulating your intention and focusing your mind. All of the stuff that you're doing, I'll do this and all that. All you're doing is just formulating your mind. All that stuff you see with Harry Potter and that's bullshit. Stay away from all of that. This is the magic. The universe has a hard time hearing right now because the waters are so polluted. Why do you think they keep spraying the skies? Why do you think they keep feeding us the crap water in our sinks? Because everything that is magical comes through the four basic fundamental elements: fire, air, water, and earth. They've polluted all of them except the fire. And with the fire, they're dealing with nuclear power and nuclear bombs. So the fire, air, the water, and the earth, those are the three components out of the four that have been polluted. You think real magic could take place? The only way you're going to really see magic is if you can go into the woods and conquer the silence, because the silence in the woods has to match the silence in your head, and you're going to bring a whole lot of noise and nonsense and crap that has from this crazy world into that environment That's why people go crazy in there, and that's why the bears and them attack you, because they can feel your confusion.
Right, right. I always tell people, if you're not aligned with the God in you, then the environment, the natural environment will react to it, right? It'll react and tell you, hey, look, that dog is barking at you because you're not in line with the certain kingdoms of this invisible world. So the only thing I've done, me as a magician and creating, the algorithms that I've created, right? I would digress and say, well, from my end, the magic that I've been practicing has been fucking up some shit in the establishment, and there's been English with numbers and all kind of ancient different texts, everything mixed in one, everything from runes to ancient Kemetic texts to you name it, Greek, Latin, everything that's been stolen from us, spliced from us, or taken away, whatever you want to call it. I'm from New Orleans and we believe in gumbo, and I put it all into this big pot of gumbo, and I've been able to make it work, on a major level to where, you see global things happening in the world, because a person is practicing actual, magic, setting my intentions, activating my chakras, and, and putting that putting that good infinite love and eternal truth energy out into the atmosphere so that I can attract that, right? I've found a way to turn off my mind through activating my chakras so my mind doesn't bombard me with all of the things. You hear a lot about people. Some people say you can't turn your mind off. Some people say you can. What is your assessment on the mind? Is the mind are you damned to forever just hear the rampant voices in your mind throughout your life, or is there a way that we can press an off button and gain control of our minds and gain that quiet stream of thought, or that realm of no mind where that magic really takes place, like the forest, the quiet in the forest?
Well, again, that's something that we can go over step by step. And if anybody's interested in dealing with that, they can come to my university and take what is known as metaphysical psychology course. We have a metaphysical psychology course that deals with the science of the mind and the metaphysics of thought. So I can tell you, yes, there are ways to be able to achieve the silence and to understand what thought is and what thought isn't. And once you have a working understanding and schematic of your thoughts and know what it is, know of the mechanics of thought, then you conquer that part of you that keeps you in the illusory state, keeps you in pain, keeps you in suffering. And once you've done that, you enter into the realm of silence, and that's the realm of intelligence, and that's where the magic happens.
Ooh, beautifully said. Thank you for so much information, knowledge, jewels. Dropping, man. Crumb TV dropped in here. I don't know if you heard of Crumb TV, but he definitely says, you're one of his heroes. Do you have, as a father and an achiever and a person who has become a god in the presence of humanity, what would be your last parting words of advice to the people?
Well, the first thing I would like to do is to not be known as a god until such time as I have achieved the outer spirit and left the body. As far as godhood is concerned, I appreciate and appreciate love everything that everybody speaks of me about, and I thank the Most High and the ancestors for having guided me throughout my sojourn. But I receive their accolades, and I send it back to them and tell them that it's all love, and that they're tasked now, if they do like what I do, if they do love what I do, to pick up the torch and to move it forward, and to keep the spirit of it. Do not get caught up in the ego of the information. Do not get caught up in the fact that because you know and because somebody is not knowing at that time, to make sure that as far as uh, the patience it takes, after doing this nearly 40 years, there's a certain amount of patience. And it does happen that when you get older, you either get more patience or you just retreat and don't want to be bothered with anybody anymore. But I I can say that um, in the time that I've been doing the ups and downs, the homelessness, the things that I've gone through, everything is worth it, especially since the ancestors know your heart. Um, if your heart is in it and you're doing it for the best purposes and you're doing it because of you love your humanity and you love your people and you understand what the task is and you're doing it with courage, without fear, and knowing that work like this constitutes the danger of being taken out of the flesh by people who either disagree, by governments, by those who are the adversary to all truth. This is who we're battling. As their Bible says, we battle not with the flesh, but with principalities and I told evil in high places. And that's the truth. The high places they're talking about are the high places on this planet, on this plane of existence, on this third density reality. The high planes that you're operating from are way ahead of them, way above them. Stay up there. Don't come down to do the battle. Let them exhaust themselves by you simply bringing the knowledge out to people. Let them see it for themselves. And don't waste your time with people who want to argue with you. If they're there to really learn, they're there to really learn, they will show that they're there to learn, and you'll be able to pick that up. Otherwise, never cast pearl before swine. That's my one of my favorite things I tell my students. Talk to somebody, never let them know who you are or what you know. And then after they've told you a few things about themselves, if you find themselves repeating themselves, after a while you're speaking to them, you know that they don't know much. Anybody that talks and then loops upon themselves and then starts saying the same thing in a different way, then you know that they don't have much depth to offer. So you talk to them on their level. If they're ready and you speak to them of things like you are talking about, magic and sorcery, but you know, never to a Christian, you know, because I was a Christian at one time. I was a Catholic. I was one of the originals. So now I'm a recovering Christian. I, I'm no longer that. I've been clean and psychologically and psychospiritually sanitized for the last, I would say, 45, 46 years. 40, no, more than that. I'm in my 70s. So, yeah, the last 55 years.
Everybody say you look good for your 70s, man. What's the man? We got to call that number to get that food. Those capsules,
Yeah, get
man.
the Juice Plus. The Juice Plus is a
How
miracle.
much is the how much is the juice plus? You got packages or is are
Yeah,
you
it comes.
deals?
Yeah, my wife will explain it to you.
Okay.
I can give you her number. She says I can give her number. It's 646 510 6702. 646 510 6702. Please do not call her early in the morning or late at night. Call her after 11 and before 9 p.m. Eastern Time.
After 11, before 9 Eastern
Mhm.
Standard Time, get the juice plus. I'm definitely want to get some so I could give my testimonial on the wonderful thing that you're doing for the black people. And I always just I'm a big fan of people who want to heal us, because I feel like all of these great things that we want to do as black people, how are we going to do them if we're not healthy enough, right? We can't even jog up the street. How are we going to,
Yeah,
build these?
listen, we all got work to do. I got some work to do. I've been sitting around behind this computer. I haven't been working out. I put on a little weight, but I know what to do. You see, a lot of people don't know what to do when they want to relax and put on weight or whatever it is. They don't know how to take it off. They don't know how to relax. I'm
So
going
you
on a
feel
fast.
like that? You feel like there's a balance between, hey,
Oh, yeah, everything must be balanced. You
okay.
never go all the way one way because then what's there? What do you learn? You know, you're here to walk the straight and narrow, but then every now and then you take an exit or two before you get back on the straight and narrow. How else do you learn what it is that your destiny is about? You know, you acquire knowledge by going into adversity. You acquire what you're made of by facing the problems that you face in life. And throughout all the misery and the craziness, that's what grows you spiritually and mentally, if
Right.
you survive it, of course.
So everybody said the devil is just God in disguise challenging you.
Well, the devil is nothing more than God reversed.
Is heaven and hell a real place?
Yeah, in here.
Okay. So, but when we die, there is no etheric existences where we'll suffer spiritual punishments like on earth as it is in heaven. They got jail on
No,
earth. They
Buddha,
got jail in heaven.
no, Buddha said something very interesting. He said the thirst for the flesh has been our hell. In other words, we feel that as migrating spirits from body to body, we thirst for that feeling of sex, of food, of this feeling of sensation that the body gives us. We thirst for that, our spirit and our soul. So the soul keeps migrating. The more we indulge in the physicality of life, the more the soul has to repeat it. And as we begin to release ourselves over many lives, the more spiritual we become. We become almost like a monk like. We become a celibate. We just estrange ourselves from this temporal addiction to the body. So yes, the hell is us coming in here and having to deal with eating, pissing, shitting, going
Yes.
all of that's hell.
Yes, that's hell. Yes, it is.
So
So
we're already there.
so is there? Do you think we can become breatharian? And train ourselves to become breatharian?
Well, there are people who do go. I did a 52-day fast at one point and didn't want to eat after that. Everybody begged me to start eating.
Oh my goodness, man!
Yeah.
I truly believe that we don't need food to live,
Of
man.
course, no, we don't, because the food, essentially, the same amount of food you eat comes out in your stool at the same weight. If you have 2 pounds of food that you're about to eat, 2 pounds of feces will come out, which means you're not really eating anything. All you're doing is agitating the cells.
Right? You're just using your car. It's like joyriding in your car. You just
Well,
riding for
no,
nothing.
yeah, but what is happening is the move. You see, you never really. I'm gonna close with this. You never really had intestines. Your intestines were actually in your original body, the spiritual body, the etheric body. Your intestines were actually a frontal vertebra.
See, man, that
See the throat? This is
right.
part of the vertebra, and you had one in the back that connected. That's why you went all the way down. If you look at the way that your esophageal and your alimentary tract is, you'll see that there is a vein that goes along the side of it, and you see these things going around. That's your spinal cord that was up in the front before it opened up to accommodate your earthly existence.
Oh my goodness, man! Hey, I could go all night, man. That's why I said she like a vampire. Just give me the knowledge, give me the wisdom now. I need it. Just asking questions forever. So most definitely, man. We hope you, man. I hope forever you come back and tell us about the juice pills. I want to really get in on this because I'm a big fan of juicing. I feel like I go on those spells where all I do is just drink juice, water, tea, no food, and I barely need sleep. Like
Right.
when I'm doing it, I have a tons of energy. It's like, why do I need food when I can just drink juice and drink tea and water and I feel wonderful? And people start saying like, you want something to eat? You want something to eat? And then I go back like, yeah,
Right.
you give me something
Well,
to
it's
eat.
a sensation. That's what eating started as, just a sensation. After we fell to earth from the spiritual body into the physical, eating was just about the sensation for the new body. It was not something that was necessary because we were called at one time Saptapana. Saptapana means man plant because the sun gives us everything we really need.
Like the trees. We can just need water and sunlight.
Saptapana, man plant.
Mm.
Anyway, brother, you talk
Thank you.
to my wife about the nutrition because she's brilliant. She could tell
Okay.
you all about the Juice Plus.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you for blessing the channel, and I hope to have you back someday. And someday soon, I got a whole bunch of people with channels that want to talk to you. It's like, oh man, Dr. Phil, tell them send them my way. People with thousands and hundreds of thousands of subscribers, like man, send them my way. So if you want to push that, your wife with the juice and all the movements that you're doing, man, I'm more than happy to take it further. Thank you for blessing the show, and I'm gonna let you go because I've been talking your head off, and I know you've been trying to get out of here. So thank you for blessing the show. I appreciate everything that you brought to it. The legend, Reverend Dr. Phil Valentine in the building.
My pleasure. You take care, brother.
Peace.
Peace.
Oh, pressure. That was the pressure, people. That was the pressure. That was the pressure. Hey, I agree with 98. I agree with 98.9% of the things he said. 98.9% of the things he said, I agree with. Yeah. Yup. 98.9. Yup. Man, that was crazy. That was crazy. See, people like that, you just sit there, you be like a kid in the candy store asking questions. I asked them all the questions too. Man, we gotta get to this day. Oh, I forgot to ask him about the flat Earth. I forgot to ask him to explain flat Earth. Dang, I forgot to ask him. Oh, and I forgot to ask him about the morning routine and how to what is a great and I forgot to ask him about the suggested movie as well as his hopes and dreams for the future. But for the most part, I know he believe in it, but I want to know I wanted him to elaborate on his belief and why he believes it's a dome and what is what did his scientific mind, how does his scientific mind deduce the fact that we're in a dome flat and beyond the ice, the ice caps and everything like that. Man, one for the history books. Shocker Doctor and Dr. Valentine got it in. Shocker Doctor, Dr. Valentine. I'm glad. Hey man, y'all like my video. I gave y'all a fire interview. We kept it real. We kept it platinum. We talked about everything. We didn't, we talked about everything. Shocker Doctor sat in the back seat and just was in the I was in the passenger seat, just riding the wave. You feel me? Man, y'all hit that, man. Y'all impress the algorithm. Y'all tell the algorithm we need Shocker. We need Shocker Doctor doing more interviews like that, man. They're gonna put that on the timeline. I don't even know what to call this live. What we gonna call this live? We're gonna call this live. Man, I gotta think of what I'm gonna call this live. We talked about too much stuff to fit into one title. I'm gonna picking the brain of Dr. Valentine. I don't know. Y'all gotta give me a show. Give me a show title. What kind of show title? Hold on, man. Hey, I didn't want to smoke no weed. Y'all see, I had to. So one of the reasons why you see the thing was on him for the solo time, because I'm smoking. He talking and I'm listening. Like every time that nigga, every time the God, he said he not a God, man, a God in the flesh. Listen, every time he said this or that or the third, I'm hitting the weed. Every time the most honorable, noble, justice, immortal, Dr. Phil Valentine the Great, you feel me, said what he said, I was back there hitting the weed. So that's why, man, take me out of this stuff. I just want to listen. It was like talking to Dr. Sabi, but it was like talking to Dr. Sabi all over again, but for a whole long time. And remember, a lot of our pioneers, they didn't get along because they had different philosophies, ideologies that they were trying to push to the forefront. And, a lot of collaborations didn't go underway because of differences in opinion and differences in strategy of how they were going to bring their way to heal Black people to the forefront. I'm just glad in this internet age, in this internet era, that we can still have access to some of our great leaders, man. We talked about everything from magic, the conscious community. Oh, I forgot to ask him about polymath. He didn't want to tell us the zodiac sign. What zodiac sign y'all think Dr. Phil, Dr. Valentine? Because somebody said in the comments he don't like to be called Dr. Phil. But I think that's so cool that he called Dr. Phil because he's the real Dr. Phil. But what do you think? What do you think his zodiac sign was, y'all? Well, a Libra, a Sagittarius, a Virgo, a Scorpio. What you thought? What you think he was? Y'all drop it in the comments. Somebody said he was an Aquarius. Aquarius, I think if he was Aquarius, I think he would have laid up there and said something. He either a Virgo or a Capricorn. I know, huh? He an earth sign. I know he an earth sign. But he kept talking about that fire. He probably a Sagittarius. I think he might be a Sagittarius too. Or he got a Sagittarius moon or some type of Sagittarius because, you know, somebody said Virgo, Capricorn, Virgo. Everybody keeps saying Virgo. Everybody keeps saying this nigga a Virgo. Man, everybody keeps saying Dr. Valentine a Virgo for sure. Somebody was Virgo for sure. Definitely smooth Virgo for sure. Oh, it's the magic of the people revealing his zodiac sign, right? We talked about Dr. Sabi. We talked about, is we from Africa or not? We talked about polygamy versus monogamy. We talked about the modern woman and the Kevin Samuels red pill movement. We talked about Dr. Umar and the stain of these internet leaders of consciousness. We talked about what should we be doing right now. We talked about how to have a successful long marriage, the wisest thing that you can give to us right now, dietary regimen, the Illuminati, the Freemasons, the Rainbow Booty Boy, LGBTQIA. We talked about the future of hip hop. We talked about 420. We talked about the chakras. We talked about Saturn, Satan, cult of Yahweh. Talked about all of this stuff. He kept saying the Most High. Hey, Dr. Finn, you can be suspect. I'm telling you. He kept saying that Most High. He ain't want shit on Yahweh. He might be. Nah, let me. Hey, I will leave that alone. I just came to get along. That is my uncle. That's like my uncle. He don't even know how much he taught me. Not even today, because remember, today was like a dream come true because I've been watching him from afar, you know, learning. He was when I first started waking up. He was one of the people that I was listening to heavy. Him, Dr. Umar, Bobby Hemmett. You know, I was listening to Pharaoh. I was listening to what his name is, Brother Polite, Sadnetta. I was listening to all these. I was listening to all these dudes. That's why I said 98.8%. I believe in 98% of what he said. They got a 2. Me and him got a 2%. You know, we got a 2. Like 2 things. You know, 2 things that I digress. I vary. You know, but we talked about everything. Man. We talked with the investing. You know, General SETI. You know, red pill, blue pill. Yeah, man. When I first started waking up, man. The magic I know you disagree. You already know. But I'm terrorizing the world with this English language magic. I'm saying, hey, I just let him have that one. Hey, you can have that one. But at my school over here, at my school of magic, I give people an email in English and their life change. No sigil. Bet that up. Real live Lucifer in the flesh. Bet that up. I don't think he knew he was talking to the, you know. I was just a fan tonight. But this was definitely a raw live. I was just a fan tonight, and I'm glad to just be a fan. But, you know, definitely that magic and definitely that Most High shit. That Most High and that magic shit. Hey, man. But everything else, was pretty on point. And he's a very great expounder. He knows how to stay politically correct. He knows how to expound without stepping on toes because he is a master at this. So yes, most definitely history books. Dr. Phil was in this joint 2 hours getting it in. Only on Chakra Doctor TV. Why does it say in the Bible we will burn forever when we don't live forever? We do live forever. Your soul lives forever. Simone Redmond. Your soul lives forever. So if your soul lives forever, then it's probably able to be burned on some type of level, or on some type of a level. We didn't get into really the space and the constellations and things of that nature. What you know? Please keep in mind, you two are from different generations. You believe everything. You believe everything the Bible said. Lovely audio book. This was sign up for CD next. Oh yes, please. Link is in the description. The link is in the description. Please sign up for tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? No, on the 13th. Sunday's magic class. Sunday's magic class, and I'm about to show you in English. I'm gonna show you in English for my Sunday magic class. Y'all make sure that number at the bottom. Y'all call. Y'all call. Y'all call the good Reverend. And I'm reading. I'm sorry, I'm distracted on both. Y'all call the good Reverend. I'm gonna see what's up with that Juice Plus. He said my favorite word, juice. And then he said my second favorite word, my wife. Okay. Oh, my wife doing the Eaton's Garden, huh? Giving you that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You know what I mean? But definitely, this was definitely a lie for the history books. I can't wait to, do something else with him if he allows it to be. If he wants to go on other channels that I know he can go on, man, I'm more than happy to plug him and make sure that he sells his juice, to sell his products, his services, make people aware of what it is that he's doing. But yeah, for the most part, 98 is still an A on the test. I agree. He still made an A. A 98 is an A, is an A on the test. Can I get my props? Can you get your... Oh, Psych L, get your props on what? Let the people know. Put your props in the comments and I'll put it on the screen. Put your props in the comments and I'll put it on the screen. 98 is a solid A. He goes on Black Magic 363 with Brother Rich. Oh, I never heard. I gotta look into that. Yeah, definitely. It was definitely for the history book. Man, I appreciate everybody. I'm just making sure I leave at the 244. You feel me? And keep it magic. But yeah, it was lit, man. I can't hate on it. I love it. I love the brother for coming through. Oh yeah. Boom. There you go, right there. That was Psych. I know you by your. I be knowing you, because you bought miracle food for me, so I don't be calling you Psych L333. Nigga, I be going by what's your name. And Dan is 133 with the 333. Y'all screenshot that. Boom, he ain't lying. I told you he ain't lying. He told me to check into the REV. I checked into the REV. Has anybody figure out why the people that runs the world, why do what? Yes, we already talked about that, Simone Reb, and you late. Talk to y'all later, man. It's about to get Simone, you late. Make sure y'all get into this magic class. I got going on Sunday. And yeah, man. Yes, bro. Let's get it, man. That was wonderful. I'm still high off that. I'm gonna smoke me an L. I'm gonna kick it. We're gonna do some stuff off that, man. We're gonna thank you for all my true love gangers for showing up in the building and making me look good. I only got 5,000, and we was able to get almost 200 people in this joint. When you go to, they got motherfuckers with channels that got 100,000, 200,000, and getting 200-300 people. I got my little 5,000. And we was able to get almost 200 people in this joint. We was at 190 something at one point. So thank y'all, man. Thank y'all for showing love. I hope I delivered a great show. I hope you guys rewind this, play that again, man, and get them Jews that he was dropping. Most definitely. But until next time, I'll see y'all later, alligator. After a while, crocodile. You already know what it is.